3 separate treehouse coverages on Donkey Kong Bonanza, which means we have 3 videos of gameplay showing tons of new features and information about the game. So today I have a list of tons of new facts about the game and things that I've actually learned from dissecting the treehouse, and also digging a little deeper, finding one crazy leak online that I'm going to save for the very end, so you'll definitely want to stay around into the end to see that. You guys brought in over 500 new subscribers the other day, and we are so close to reaching a whopping 350,000 subscribers here on the channel. So please, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like and subscribe to help us reach this goal. Let's try to get even more than 500 today. Thank you so much, guys, and let's jump into the new facts of Donkey Kong Bonanza. So the story of this game is that there's a new island where Donkey Kong lives called Ingot Isle, and all the apes there are going there to pretty much prospect the mine, because apparently this location is rich in a brand new item, being the Banandium, which is this gem banana that they just love because it tastes extremely good. Yeah, a gem banana tastes extremely good, which is strange, but yeah. But anyways, they find this isle, and of course so does the bad guys, which in turn send it down into the ground below, which the entire game actually takes place underground in different sublevels. In this game, you can actually collect all the gold nuggets that you see falling down from the caves on screen, and you can collect things called Banandium chips, which can be traded into vendors for full bananas. So I'm wondering how many you can actually do this, because it's going to be like a Mario Odyssey situation where you just have an overabundance of bananas, kind of like we did with moons, but we're gonna have to wait and see, because I hate the idea of actually buying the main collectible of the game. But the Banandium gems work very similar to the Power Moons and Grand Moons from Super Mario Odyssey. You'll see 1 individual ones and even 3 stack ones, which works the exact same way. You break these open in order to gain the gem, and you actually get a little description of the mission in order to get to that banana, which is just like Super Mario Odyssey's. You can aim and throw the terrain, but the terrain has different properties. For instance, you will see that it will tell you where you're actually throwing your terrain, and it'll show you what you're throwing it at. For instance, he's aiming at stone sturdy, but he's using a giant piece of clay, which in turn is just going to stick to the wall, which is pretty interesting to have that type of system in the game. If you grab something harder like the stone rock and throw it at the stone rock itself, it'll just break apart. You can actually pick up varying sizes of the terrain and swing it around like a giant weapon in order to break more of the actual world apart. The checkpoints in this game are tuning forks, and what you'll notice is they seem to play a big element in this game when it comes to music, and I'll talk more about that later, which is kind of hinting at something else. Also, DK's ground pound and slaps allow him to actually use a sonar in order to find hidden things, like he can obviously mark this hidden banana gem that's in between this dirt mound. You can also use this same ground pound to pick up collectibles a lot easier. Instead of going around and picking up every individual gold nugget, you can just run around smacking the ground in order to pick everything up in the surrounding area. In the game, you'll also see these little achievements pop up called Smashin' Stats, and this one says gold 10,000 of some units, so it seems like there's going to be a lot of stat tracking with how much of the terrain and what type of terrain you destroy the most of. Probably just a little thing to have stats about, nothing that's just really important, or there could be some type of in-game achievement thing. This new character is called Oddrock, and it has some type of void tape all over it from the main antagonist, but it actually has full voice acting in the game. So this is DK's new companion in the game, but we really don't know what it does quite yet, because we only see one ability, which I'll talk about in a second, but I also want to talk about the fact that yes, Donkey Kong can climb walls and still punch as he's climbing, so he can punch right directly above him. But Oddrock has the ability to actually sing alongside Donkey Kong, as you can see him sing and actually break this void tape in order to open up a new section of the level. Once again, this game seems to be really based around music and singing, which you can probably see where this is going, but I'm not going to say anything yet. Just like Super Mario Odyssey, there seems to be some type of fashion store, as it says Fossil, trade for new fashion items at any style shop. There was in fact a scene in the first reveal trailer that actually shows some type of shop ran by this green crystal guy, so I'm wondering if this is just one of the few shops we'll get, but it looks like we'll have costumes for Donkey Kong in a similar manner that we had for Mario and Odyssey. Now for these fossils, you can actually find chests that have hidden maps that lead you to a fossil somewhere on the map that you'll probably have to dig somewhere for. You can actually catch some projectiles or rocks that are thrown at you from other enemies, and you can actually throw them back in return. Outside of the gold and the banana chips, there's 3 other things that you can find. Now, we talked about fossils, and there seems to be 3 different types of fossils. The first one is the ones we've been seeing DK find in the entire gameplay. The second one I'm unsure of, and the third one looks like the gold fossil enemies that we'll see that DK actually can fight and punch. You can actually see one of those fossil guys here. They're wrapped around in rock, and you have to throw a boom rock to break it, and then you can punch them in order to probably gain a fossil, because he looks very similar to that symbol on the right. There are tons of underground caverns and secret rooms that you can find. You can drop down into these little caverns with water in order to find banana gems or just secret chests or more gold, so you're going to want to be digging a lot. With my OCD, I'm never going to finish this game. One thing I am super interested in that I'm probably going to try as soon as I get the game is to just completely destroy a singular stage. Like everything that you can possibly break, just completely get rid of the stage itself. I wonder if it's even possible, but I'm definitely curious to see what it would even look like. Your map that you can pull up gives you a full real-time 3D replica of the entire map. But there's so much more I want to talk about with this map, and I'll do so in a later portion. Cranky Kong is still in this game, and you can stop and listen to his stories. He still has his classic design, which is kind of weird that DK got changed and he didn't, but he also talks about Rambi, so it's clear that Rambi is confirmed to be in this game in some capacity. He even has a little render by his name, and you'll probably be able to ride him around some areas, and I can definitely see him breaking terrain. I mean, literally that's what his main job was to do in the Donkey Kong Country game, was to break secret walls in order to find secret bonus rooms, so this just seems like the perfect game for Rambi to just break apart the entire stage. This game does look like it'll have areas where you can swim in water. Now, thankfully, it doesn't look like it has any underwater swimming, which I'm just not a fan of, so I'm fine with that. But there are some segments where you can swim in little bodies of water. Donkey Kong has a roll jump even in mid-air, very similar to his 2D games from Donkey Kong Country, which is super cool to see return. Once again, just like Mario Odyssey, there are challenge doors that Donkey Kong can find that takes him to challenge rooms, and each challenge room has 3 bananas to collect. 2 of them seem to be on the easier side, but there's one that's a challenge to find within that room, which, just like Mario Odyssey, there was 2 secret power moons in each room, one that was easy to find and one secret one that you had to look for. So it's pretty much pulling from that, and even the same colors and kind of design as Odyssey's challenge rooms are here in Donkey Kong Bonanza. So it's clear that the Odyssey team was definitely inspired by everything from Odyssey when they were making this game. We also have red balloons back, but it no longer represents Donkey Kong's lives. Instead, it helps you to return to the stage if you fall, and it doesn't give you damage. You can throw mud or clay at an enemy to weigh them down. It'll even lean them in that direction, making it hard for them to move. Back to this map, there's a lot of cool things about it. So for one, it actually saves all the terrain that you destroyed, and if you want to actually reset the terrain, you could push the plus button as you see at the bottom left as one of the settings, and it'll actually reset everything you destroyed. So it seems like you can pretty much destroy everything down to probably that hard piece at the bottom, which seems to be hard concrete. The terrain also seems to have a strength meter, as you can see, ranked by 5 stars, and this one is 2 out of 5 stars. I don't know if that means it takes longer to break the terrain. Is there eventually things that you need to do to upgrade Donkey Kong to break the terrain easier? Are there like gloves or maybe like knuckles, like actual knuckles from Sonic, where you need to have like some type of equipped item to break through solid rock or something? It's hard to say, but it does seem to have something to do with Donkey Kong breaking through it, if it's even mentioned. It also shows you in each area the sub-level that Donkey Kong is on, and that seems to be breaking apart the world in these sub-levels. For instance, he's in Lagoon Lair, but he's only on sub-level 100, and it seems like it goes down a floor each time as we see him enter sub-level 101, but they never show us the rest of that area. We also see a little collection menu for bananas and fossils, and it looks like it tracks everything within that sub-level, so you don't have to worry about missing things. You can actually track them down, find the maps, and see how many left that you're missing in each area if you want to go for that full 100%. The map can also be spun around in full 3D, showing you all the different areas on all the different parts of that sublevel. For instance, the player actually zooms in on this specific part, showing that there is some type of void stick that you have to take out. This way we're not just digging blindly and trying to look for everything. You can actually plan out your course and where you want to go by just looking at your map. This is honestly a great map. Donkey Kong can pick up pieces of terrain, like I said before, and use it as a weapon, but did you know he can also swing it upwards in order to break the rock above him? him. And like you saw on the map, to finish each area, you have to take out these things called void sticks, which are blocking passageways to the lower sublevels. Now, what's also really cool about this is there's multiple different void sticks that have different entrances to these sublevels. So this isn't the only way to go down to the next sublevel. There's multiple different ones that are layered within this area. Never guess what game I'm about to bring up. That's right, Super Mario Odyssey. You can teleport in this game very similar to Mario Odyssey, where this fish comes out of the ground, it grabs you, and just takes you to the next area. Very similarly, you can do the same thing in Odyssey by throwing your cap at the next checkpoint in order to fly to that area. So once again, it's just kind of the same thing going on here. Before we get to our last fact, there is a full photo mode in this game, which is so exciting. You can move the camera all around DK, you can freeze frame it when you're in the middle of a jump or an attack. Once again, I'm sorry guys, but yes, just like Super Mario Odyssey. It's actually pretty much the same way as well, with the same type of options. You can get rid of the HUD, you can change the filter and everything we saw from the settings. So yeah, it's the same thing, just straight up pulled from that game's engine. Now for that final special fact I told you about earlier. This actually came out from Nintendo of Korea on accident and immediately covered up by Nintendo. And for the last major fact, a major new character coming to the game. Here we are. Nintendo of Korea actually showed this image. It might look normal, right? Well, if you look closer, yeah, that looks like a young Pauline on the back of DK's tie hanging on to him. And if you look at her bracelet, it's the same purple rock as that purple creature that was on Donkey Kong's back the entire time. Is she the actual rock that we see from the very beginning? It actually makes more sense than you might think, and let me explain. It looks like she could be cursed to be this form. As you can see all over her is this purple void tape with a picture of the main antagonist's face on it. So what actually happened to young Pauline? Well, maybe she was transformed into a rock. And why does this make so much sense to me? Well, it's because of the musical element again. Not only are the checkpoints tuning forks, but it seems like Donkey Kong's whistle is actually maybe tied to this. And the fact that you can pair up with this rock creature in order to sing to break away this cursed tape everywhere maybe proves that this is Pauline, because we know Pauline's a singer, baby. Maybe Pauline's voice and her singing is enough to break away the curses of the bad guys, so he turned her into a rock in order to prevent this or something. Who knows? But the real question is, why is Pauline a kid in this game? I have no clue. Is this a different dimension? Are we going back in time for some reason? It's really hard to say, but it is very interesting. Maybe this is Pauline's kid or something that we don't know about. Why did she have a kid? Who did she have a kid with? Mario? I don't know. Very confusing as to why she's a child. It would make more sense if she was just fully grown. Pauline as a kid in this adventure actually makes this super interesting. And the fact that this is on actual concept art, or not even concept art, this is the actual rendered art for advertisements, makes me believe that we'll get a second trailer soon that actually shows off Pauline actually hanging out with Donkey Kong. So maybe some part in the game, like halfway through the game, we actually see her transform to her normal self, and maybe it's not an end of the game thing, because why would they show this in advertisement so soon? Pretty strange. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what else little Pauline can do in this game, and exactly what her main role is and who she actually really is. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any thoughts or speculation yourself, and thank you so much for tuning in today. If you learned something new at all, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Donkey Kong Bonanza and Nintendo in general, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.